as well. Because you can take the entire walking tour, or you can do half of the tour.
We can reach out to the entire list of
Let me
people.
ask you,
Yes,
let me ask you a question. How much would it
It's
cost?
only
for-
$5.
Well, no, for, not the walking tour, because I have an idea that it's a little chilly outside. So, how much would it cost per person to do a 40-person bus?
If we can
$25.
get about $25, and we can try to find a way to get the Architectural Foundation or maybe South Shore Chamber to help us so that it wouldn't cost so much per person. But if we can find a way to take in some funds to cover the bus cost. Because
How
most
many-
of us, we all volunteer though.
How many people would be willing to pay $25 to take that tour?
I would, and I'm a tour giver.
Okay, well, great.
Is there gonna be
Yes.
some information
Okay.
coming back
We
about
have
what we
5
have here
minutes.
today?
Yes,
Before the 2 weeks start?
information that will come back will be a beginning of some of the goals that we talked about here, which we hear, which of course are to change the image. We'll talk about branding in our next meeting. I'm Yvette Moyo, by the way. I'm the co-founder of Real Men Cook. So if you've heard of that, you know that we built a brand from scratch, from the time I was 32 to the time I was 60. So, I think we can do this. We also worked in Inglewood, and that slogan that we created for Inglewood was "Everything good grows in Inglewood." And we related it to community gardens, and people got on board, and it delighted the children. So I think we can come up with some things that would inspire and would hang with people to change this whole idea of what's going on. Jeanette?
May I add something though, because I think that we've done a wonderful job of defining for ourselves a lot of the assets. And so the content of what we want to communicate, as you said, not only locally but citywide, maybe even nationally, is clear. But the focus of what I understand what the committee work would be is, as this young lady said, how do we get it out? And so I'm saying we shouldn't leave this meeting without putting on the table the idea that we should be defining some of the communication vehicles that already exist. 3 or 4 people here already named several reporters. We need to have a list of reporters that we need to communicate with regularly. We need to be able to have a list of the communication vehicles. Print, not only the mainstream prints, sometimes Tribune, but the smaller media, the Hyde Park Herald, the Citizen, all of the smaller media that all already exist. There are great bloggers that we know of. Why don't we make a list of that? And when we do then these articles about the history, about the architectural tours, when we take our own photographs of what is beautiful and lovely and put them on the website of the organization that's doing this, we will be able to show and tell ourselves, do our own.
Well, South Shore, so right now there's a website that we did called GoSouthShore.org that's being redone. So basically everything that's coming out of these and our talking points, that's the whole vision for South Shore, master plan, all that stuff will be on that website. So somebody asks you something weird like, what does South Shore want to do, what is blah, 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 it'll all be on there. So there'll be like a whole marketing package that goes out. And I've held off on it, like I did the logo and the branding and all that stuff. But I'm not gonna touch anything until you guys say what kind of content you want, what story you want to tell. And then, because we've already laid out a lot of templates, so it can be done as fast or as slowly as you want it to be done, since all the framework is there. But we really need your help in order to get the content.
Can we get that? We only have a couple more minutes.
We got 5 minutes.
May I just add one
It's gonna be a
or two
separate
more things though? There are churches that have bulletins.
Absolutely.
Church bulletins. You have school, every school has communication devices.
Radio shows.
Radio shows, that's right, absolutely, the radio shows.
What I wanted to do is bounce off of
Yes.
that and say, maybe we'll do this the next meeting, but start thinking about how do you get your information,
Right.
okay? Because however you get your information, that's how we need to target those outlets. So maybe we don't have time now.
Well, what I wanted to do is a survey after this. We get everybody's email and do a short survey on what do you read, where do you go, where would you like to see South Shore stories published, and what are the stories you'd like to see. And then list some things. And what I see in the long term is as a marketing strategist is you have 2 or 3 different kinds of campaigns that can go on at the same time. Maybe even 5 with different committees all pulling their thing out. You can't tell me that the Citizen won't run 2 articles about South Shore. If one is about the architecture and one is about the fine arts school, that could be in one publication. Repetition is what we'll learn because repetition sells. So just knowing it and having one article is not enough, but that article has to go to blog, has to go to Facebook, it's got to go to LinkedIn, it's got to go to everybody on LinkedIn that's in the room, it's got to go on their pages, then it's got to go to different bloggers so that we begin to create a tipping point where people are actually echoing what we're saying and they don't even live in South Shore. Then we know that we are beginning to change the perspective. This might be over the course of 3 years. So what we need is a 3-year commitment from everybody in the room to do something monthly, weekly, et cetera, and we can really, we can astonish ourselves as to what we do together in Ujima, collective work and responsibility to change the story about South Shore.
Can we think today of a headline, though, about the Dominics that's going on, because this is emergent? And from a media perspective, how do we get out there what we're doing right here, right now?
Well, I think
We
we
don't want
take
to be on the
advantage of
table.
the fact that, like I
Yes.
said,
Informed and engaged.
right now, as I said earlier, not to be redundant, we have to see what's selling, what is the buzz, and how can we then hang our hat on that. This task force has been developed. We need to look at all the members that are on that task force and make sure that we are engaging those individuals so they are very clear that we exist. If nothing else, that we
And
exist.
that's another thing. I think that it's a task force for all for the city. So if you look on the coalition Facebook page, I listed a list of maybe about 8, maybe 5 Chicago South Shore people like Gates, Henry English, Carol Adams. These are people that live in South Shore or have property in South Shore. And we should have our own South Shore coalition that informs that group. And you can't say anything about this Dominics unless you check with our coalition, which would include Billy Gerdenstein, who owned Mr. G's.
Well,
who is
just like the
already
lady
on-
who's taking the pictures today, this is an opportunity right now for
Yes,
her
it
to
is.
take those pictures. We have a caption and a press release that goes with them, and we send those around to all of the assignment desks to let them know this is what transpired this weekend.
Now, we're gonna have
As
to
the
leave this
Dominics were
building,
closing today.
but
I
we
mean,
need to do that today.
That's
We
a
need
very
to do that
good
today.
idea. That is,
The other-
that's
the other
an
thing-
action item for right now.
The other thing, our
Exactly. I agree.
interviews with the residents, a cross-section of residents from South Shore, so that we can videotape
Right.
them, and they're easily posted in various places, because now media is so interactive. And
Exactly.
get the statements of the people that have, like Vicki said, she's been here since 2. We moved in when I was 10, I'm 60 now.
Right.
And I just moved back in with my mother.
Right.
And
Okay.
So as a former media practitioner, that's what I do.
Are you
I'm
free
willing
the
to-
next hour
I
and a
will
half?
write-
Right.
I'm willing to write
Okay,
a press
because they're gonna
release.
put us out the building.
Right.
We do have, you know, it's like when at the party, y'all ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get out here. We have to get out of here. However, this is a definite takeaway that is gonna be very, very powerful right now. If we can plan a time today, we can leave here and go there. But we need to have a few people committed to putting together a press release based on today's activities.
That go out within the next 2, 3, 4, 5
It would have to go out
Yes.
today. It would have to go out today.
Today.
That was the media.
Today.
It would go
I'm
out
not,
today.
you know, in the spirit of Kwanzaa, in the spirit of Ujima, and those employees who are unemployed as of 12 p.m. today,
And the end
and no grocery store.
of benefits for people, the end of.
Yeah.
Now, you call for what the headline could be. I think that the headline that would bring fire is about South Shore fighting disinvestment. I think that they're very, very clear that they do not want to be seen as disinvesting, which is what they are doing. And I think that is a word that needs to be used.
I think that's a good idea.
We have to tie the Dominics, because that's what's gonna resonate.
Well,
We tried to get Dominic to meet there too.
And the bank.
South Shore fights Dominics disinvestment.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Or we could add urban bank,
And
urban
Chase,
partnership
Chase.
to it too.
And Chase.
And I'm wondering if there's somewhere we can find just a general idea of what the community's income level is, and this should be in the city's
We have it,
stuff.
it's actually-
Okay, all right, so if we have that, that might be a good piece to put into
Oh,
the
we will.
article
Okay.
about
Where
this
are we
new
gonna go?
article we down here. And how many people are here today to meet about that very issue?
That's right.
You know, we need a place that's big enough for us, and we, a church.
Anybody know a church?
I was talking to Ava about this. I wanted to give you a call so I can check the schedule for your next meeting.
Well, they usually charge.
So we need to have
Is there room enough for people to go to Starbucks? Are you guys okay with that, or?
I don't know if it's enough,
Not
but
room in Starbucks.